All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to tackle one of life's biggest questions. Why are we even here? We're going to be digging into a really specific historical answer from a theological source that frames our entire existence around a single eternal purpose.
So, the source we're looking at today kicks things off with this huge fundamental question, and you'll see it here in both English and Chinese. What is the chief end of man?
And boom, there's the answer, right there. The chief end of man is to glorify God and to enjoy Him forever. Now that's a short sentence, but wow, it is packed with meaning. So that's what we're going to do for the rest of our time here. We're going to take that apart, piece by piece.
Okay, first things first. Before we even get into the answer, we need to really understand the question itself. So let's start with this idea of a chief end.
So, what does that even mean, a chief end? Well, think of it as the primary, ultimate reason something exists. It's the final destination. This isn't just one goal among many, like, a career or a hobby. No, this is presented as the one single unifying purpose that's meant to cover a person's entire life.
All right, now we can get into the answer itself. Let's break down that first half. What does it actually mean to glorify God? Now, this is where it gets really interesting. To glorify God isn't just about performing religious acts. According to the source, it means to manifest or recognize the excellence of the Creator. It's about reflecting a certain standard of excellence in everything you do.
And you can see right away how this idea could completely transform your motivation. It shifts your focus from the task you're doing to the why behind it. Suddenly, a mundane job can become a meaningful act of worship. Your whole life gets reoriented toward a single unified objective, which gives significance to even the small, everyday things.
This brings us to a really crucial distinction, the difference between glorifying God and, well, glorifying yourself. The motivation for one is to showcase His excellence. For the other, it's all about improving your own image. The goal is different too. Is God the final destination, or is the self? This framework really pushes you to focus on an eternal purpose over just temporary gain and praise.
Okay, so that covers the first half, but the purpose here is twofold. Let's look at that second part. What does it mean to enjoy Him? And this isn't about just, simple, fleeting happiness. To enjoy Him is defined as finding your ultimate satisfaction, your greatest treasure, in a relationship with Him. I love how the Chinese translation here really emphasizes that this enjoyment is found in a relationship. It makes it super clear.
And then there's that final, absolutely crucial word, forever. This isn't a temporary state of enjoyment. The source makes it clear that this joy, this satisfaction, is meant to be permanent. And that has massive implications.
So what does this forever perspective actually mean in practice? Well, first, it means your core joy isn't dependent on your changing circumstances. Good day or bad day, the source of joy stays constant. The relationship is seen as a permanent state, which means purpose can remain even when, as the source material puts it, your flesh and heart fail.
Okay, so that's the theory. But how does all of this actually apply to real life? Let's get practical and explore what this eternal perspective looks like.
This perspective completely reframes everyday experiences. Your daily work is no longer just a job to get through. It becomes a platform to honor the Creator. Personal suffering becomes endurable because your ultimate purpose is secure and eternal. And success? It gets totally redefined. It's not about worldly status anymore, but about aligning your life with its intended design.
This chart really illustrates the difference in value. On one side, you've got those temporal goals, things like wealth and status, whose value is fleeting. On the other side, you have the eternal goal, the chief end, which is presented as having permanent value. The source material creates a really stark contrast in where ultimate value is actually found.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground. Let's bring it all together now with a quick summary and a few final questions for you to think about.
So to recap the big ideas, the chief end is a single ultimate purpose for life. To glorify is to reflect the Creator's excellence in all that you do, and to enjoy forever is to find permanent, ultimate satisfaction in a relationship with Him. All right, time for a quick comprehension check. Based on what we covered, how is the idea of success completely redefined by this chief end? And thinking about the practical side of things, what does that key word forever really add to this purpose, especially when you're going through difficult times? And finally, a personal question to leave you with. If this purpose were your life's compass, what in your daily life would suddenly start pointing in a new direction? Thanks for joining us for this explainer.